Erik McKinney here and Scott Schrader. And Scott, it's done. Caleb Williams is a Trojan. He is enrolled at USC and it's over. The long wait that seemed to stretch for days, months, years, really, as you're kind of covering every single twist and turn. But Caleb Williams, the former Oklahoma quarterback, now at USC. Take us through a little bit, kind of how this came together from everything start to now finish.
Well, for me, for us, it kind of started back in mid-December, really, when I got a text message from a friend of mine who covers Oklahoma, who is as dialed in as anybody that I know of covering any football team. And he just said, look out for Caleb Williams. I mean, there was talk about him, thinking about entering the transfer portal. And so we put that out there on our site. And then things kind of got quiet for obvious reasons because Oklahoma was preparing to play in the Alamo Bowl. And they may, there was a lot going on that was not going to focus on somebody potentially transferring to USC. But it was just crazy on as soon as that football game ended. Was it less than a week after that when Caleb announced he was entering the transfer portal? I don't even remember that. I mean, like you said, it seems like it's been a year, right? My timeline is kind of whacked right now. I'm trying to figure out what happened, but it was relatively soon after the Alamo Bowl, which Caleb had an outstanding performance in, I might add. He announced that it was like a thinking about entering the transfer portal, I think, tweet. And so immediately the word that we got was that USC was going to be the school to beat. And I think we all assumed that would be because of Lincoln Riley. Caleb Williams ultimately chose Oklahoma because of Lincoln Riley. If Joe Brady would have stayed at LSU, that might have been where Caleb Williams ended up. But Brady ended up going to the NFL to the Panthers. So we were hearing all kinds of stuff that Caleb Williams was looking good to USC, but it was not going to be the only option. UCLA was going to be an option because of Los Angeles, the name, image, and likeness opportunities. And so it just kind of came together to where ultimately, I think we've had conversations about this, we've all had conversations with others. It didn't make sense for him to go anywhere else. So that's kind of where we are today. I think the element of surprise was gone a long time ago for many. But as it dragged out, people started going crazy, and they started polluting our website with tweets from Fred from Covina and stuff like that. But anyway, this is a big deal.
And yeah, they certainly dragged it out. You had LSU, you had Georgia, you had UCLA, Wisconsin was kind of the late one and that push. But agreed, it never made sense for him to go anywhere else. USC was always felt like the potential destination, and in his announcement, there certainly was no hint really of, boy, this was tough, I had to sleep. No, he's all in and going. And for me, this is the biggest non-coaching move of the offseason in college football to this point, and probably for the rest of the offseason. This is something where this shines a massive spotlight on a USC team coming off a 4-8 season. A team coming off a 4-8 season is not typically in the spotlight in early February for a good reason. So they're often there for bad reasons, but for a good reason, for a positive reason. And USC is going to get attention as a potential dark horse playoff team, a potential Pac-12 champion this year. And that's not talk that you had before him. We'll see how that plays out. I mean, there's still a lot of questions that USC has to answer, and those are conversations for down the road. But this gives the USC offense under Lincoln Riley the biggest possible kickstart that it could get. This is a guy in Caleb Williams who, yes, he's played a year in that offense, but Caleb Williams is not a guy who shows up and then starts doing his homework. He has been in this Lincoln Riley offense for a long time. He is going to come in as a player coach for the other offensive guys. And it's a lot of pieces that they're putting together. 2 new running backs from the transfer portal, 3 new offensive wide receivers from the transfer portal, a new offensive lineman. Caleb Williams is that glue. There's a reason USC held off on tweeting kind of the big photo of all the new additions until he's there. He's the piece. It's noteworthy. It's buzzy. all of that stuff is what Caleb Williams brings to USC. Yes, there's going to be a quarterback position battle. There's going to be position battles anywhere. This is now Caleb Williams' team, and we're talking about this an hour after he announces that. That's the kind of player that he is, and the kind of person he is: thoughtful and aggressive on the field, knows how to kind of take over a team. Did it as a true freshman halfway through the season at Oklahoma. So that's just kind of talking about him off the field. On the field, he gives USC a guy who threw for this is again in kind of half a season, 1,900 passing yards, ran for 440 yards, was good with the ball, 27 total touchdowns against just 4 interceptions, really dynamic in the red zone, gives USC kind of everything that they need at that position. A guy who can handle, I think, the Los Angeles media, and again, all the spotlights that's going to come with that. So again, this is as much of a bonus and a kickstart for USC's team right now for spring ball in this season. I'm curious your thoughts moving forward. And this is either, this year, next year. He's going to have 2 years, at least 2 years of eligibility at USC. What do you see kind of effects of Caleb Williams on USC moving forward?
Well, it's a situation that was a little awkward for the USC players in that, Jackson Dart had kind of become that leader for them and almost established that right when he enrolled at USC, despite Keaton Slovis being the starting quarterback. And so, you had a lot of guys on this football team that were fairly close with Jackson Dart, had a lot of confidence in what Jackson Dart could offer them as a football team. But, at the same time, I've talked to several players and the thinking is that, yes, we understand that Jackson is no longer going to be here, but they also understand the addition of Caleb Williams is huge, just like you described. So, I think that the football players are excited about it. I know they have a lot of confidence in what he can do because they've seen what he can do at Oklahoma. A lot of these younger guys at USC that were part of a 2021 recruiting class know Caleb Williams. And you add Mario Williams, add Latrell McCutcheon, and you've added some other guys on offense. You talked about the running backs. But, from a recruiting standpoint, I'm not sure where this is, how this is going to impact USC. I mean, I'd be silly to not say it's going to impact it very positively, but, we haven't gotten any feedback yet. I've gotten feedback from Malachi Nelson, Brandon Ennis, Makai Lemon, Zachariah Branch, and we're going to have something up later today on kind of the thoughts from the 5 stars for the class of 2023. But needless to say, the impact of this is enormous from all aspects. It's hard to describe having the ability to bring somebody in like Caleb Williams, and you add Mario Williams and you add the transfer class, and as you talked about, this is a 4-8 football team from 2020-21, and also not much of a recruiting class. They're really a relatively small recruiting class. So, we weren't really talking about, oh my gosh, look at the recruits they're bringing in this year. But then the transfer portal stuff started happening and, everything starts coming together. So now USC needs to add the missing pieces on the lines, linebacker and stuff like that. But yeah, this impact going forward is from a team standpoint, from a media aspect, people are talking about USC again, and it's not that why do they suck.
And look at Riley, when he had his introductory press conference, it was clear he wanted to turn the page on whatever happened last year. This was going to be his program. That's, to me, the biggest thing. That's what Caleb Williams does. This lets Lincoln Riley say, here's the new USC program. This is the direction we're going. It's his guy. And Lincoln Riley has just hit it out of the park. In the 2022 class, you need Rayleigh Brown. You need Damani Jackson. You got both of them. 2023, you need Malachi Nelson. Zachariah Branch, probably one of those guys. Got those guys. In the transfer portal, you needed Caleb Williams. He did it. Caleb Williams is a USC Trojan, going to be, I think, absolutely a blast to watch. A quarterback like that with that skill set and the way that Lincoln Riley has kind of put his stamp on this program as USC moves forward. So again, a big day here on Tuesday as Caleb Williams finally announces his commitment to USC. And that's our look at it. For Scott Schrader, this is Erik McKinney. Thanks for watching WeAreSC.